Well, who is a coach? To answer this question, I would want to share a personal story. Uh, when my daughter was a couple of months old, I decided to introduce my daughter to the world outside. For the initial few months, I kept her away from all these loud and jarring noises and from these glaring lights. And after a couple of months, when I felt that she was okay and it was time I introduced her to the world outside, I carried her on my shoulders and I brought her onto the streets. And I was just 100 meters away from my home, and I was observing as a curious dad as to what's happening with my daughter and how would she be responding to the onslaught of this traffic and to the noises outside, to the lights outside, and to the passers-by and bicycles all around and the kids all around. There were so many things which were absolutely new for her, and I started observing her like a coach, like a father, and in every possible way to understand how would a child who has come into the world outside for the first time going to experience this and would be responding to the situation. And I found that in just a few moments, my daughter has this, had this expression of utter shock, and her eyes were glued to the vehicles coming from behind, and she would be observing these vehicles until they reached us and then just passed by us. And the moment the vehicles passed by us, she would heave a sigh of relief and she would feel relaxed. But the moment she would turn back her head, she would see some other vehicle approaching, and she would have a similar expression, of a shock on her face. And I would observe her with this expression until the vehicle approached us and crossed us. So after a few minutes, I noticed that she would now be crying, and she was about to cry, and I pacified her with my gestures, with my touch, and with my soothing words, and I somehow convinced her that dad's here and she's okay, she's going to be okay, because nothing outside is going to hurt her, and I'm there to take care of her. And I held her close to my heart, and I walked back to my home. And after a few minutes, I reflected on what had happened and what my little daughter might have experienced and what we all might have experienced as a child. And the experience is, why wouldn't we do the same? Why wouldn't we react the same way or respond the same way now that we are grown up? The reason is we somehow know deep down that this traffic is not going to hurt us, or the people people coming towards us have their own way, and they are on their way to somewhere, to their destinations, and we are on our way. Unconsciously, we are so used to the world outside that we have just taken it for granted, and we understand that things are operating under some discipline, some invisible discipline, and there is some invisible intelligence that is running all of us. A coach is that father me. A coach is somebody who understands the rules of the game, and the client, most of the times is that child which thinks that everything is working against him or her. In most situations in our lives, when we go through these, when we face these setbacks, we start feeling that life is working against us, and that we are helpless, and that however hard you work, things are not working in our favor. Now, coach, how would a coach help you? A coach is someone who knows the rules of the game and who becomes this mirror of truth. And instead of giving you the rules, a coach understands that even you have these rules installed within, that even you have this potential seed of that which you desire. A coach is someone who can often be that ruthless friend who can just show you what exactly you're actually seeing, and as a result of which you're experiencing that experience which you're going through. So a coach for me is that father me who just knows the rules of the game and who just becomes so available to you that you can observe using coach as a mirror. And a mirror is so ruthless. A mirror is just a device, just a tool which gives you an opportunity to see yourself. And probably the moment you see those things which probably until then you normally people tend to ignore, and you might have also been ignoring, clarity dawns. And once you have clarity, you don't need support from outside, and you become self-dependent, you become self-reliant, and you get in touch with that inner, innate, natural resourcefulness which you are born with. So a coach is not a trainer. A coach probably is not somebody who shows you that I know better than you. A coach is somebody who trusts the universal intelligence which is operating through you, and knows very well that deep down you have all that you're looking for. And probably once you have a coach, you start seeing life differently, and that's exactly why you start experiencing life differently. Want to explore more? Join us at Mysticfusion. Love you.